Hello everybody. So, a new update just dropped, Hostile Takeover. Let's have a quick look over some of the new content available for us. From a familiar NPC to help buff your early game, changes to how drowning functions, geometric placement, but most importantly, a climax to the Lunar storyline with a brand new final boss. And lots of juicy lore. Without further ado, let's get stuck in. The first thing you'll probably notice when starting up a new world after you got your login reward and checked out the fancy new skins is this creepy two-legged beefalo walking around like some kind of cryptid— oh wait, it's just a trading guy. Yes, now you'll be able to find the trading guy, now wandering merchant in your world. He'll pop up from time to time, choosing to hang around certain structures for a few days, like the Florid Postern, Pig King Village, Bee Queen, and so on and so forth. He'll move between locations of interest every 10 days, give or take. If you talk to him, he'll offer you some trades. These trades can be as simple as materials like grass and twigs, but sometimes you might get lucky and he'll offer you gems or even gears. His trades are limited and his stock might change the next time you see him. He'll ask for seemingly worthless things for these trades, like ash and such, and pigskin for gears, so keep a torch on hand if you see him wandering around. He cannot be killed, restocks every 2 days roughly, and can be configured in the world gen settings if you want to change his behaviour. Super useful early game, especially if you have a world where you can't seemingly find gears anywhere, helping you get your first icebox. The basic material trades are good as well in case you join a world late and all of the materials are gone, or if it's summer/winter and you're struggling to find that one piece of grass. You know, I wonder if this guy could spawn on the lunar island. Anyway, the next change for this update is to drowning. Now, to recap, originally if you drowned, it would be considered a pseudo-death. You'd drop the majority of your inventory items in the water, and reappear on the nearest landmass with a health penalty and a bunch of wetness. Except for characters like Wanda, who cannot lose max HP from drowning, and Wirt, who just cannot drown period, they just get the wetness. But thanks to this latest update, drowning will never remove max HP. You'll just drop some items from your inventory and take a little bit of damage. Unless you're WX78. In that case, you will still lose max HP. Sorry, buddy. The damage and item loss scales depending on how deep the water you drown in is, with shallow coastal and waterlogged waters dealing the least damage and only taking a few items compared to the bigger loss from deeper waters. But if that's not good enough for you, you can also make a personal flotation device that mitigates the health loss from drowning completely. Personally, I think I've only ever drowned like one time.
That is true.
Why? But I think this change is nifty. It helps encourage newer players to take risk out at sea, I suppose. Next up, let's look at something really cool. You know geometric placement, that one mod that lets you place things according to a grid, letting you make bases neat and tidy, and I pretty much cannot play the game without it? Yeah, Clay have incorporated their own form of the mod into the base game. To access it, check the optional settings in the advanced settings menu, and you can enable and customize the placement snapping on most structures whenever you're holding shift. This feature was a long time coming, and whilst it won't replace the freedom and flexibility the original geometric placement mod offers, it's nice having a simplified version in the base game for purists and, more importantly, console players. On top of that, we got even more quality of life too. Now, whenever you build an ancient skeleton, it will always build correctly so long as there's an atrium nearby. Now I could go into detail as to why on earth the ancient skeleton has a small chance of not being built correctly, and how it is such an obtuse and weird system that really doesn't need to exist and does nothing but make the already incredibly confusing and obfuscated pre-Rift quest chain even more confusing, but I won't because I think this change is actually pretty nifty. It helps out speedrunners. I don't think any new player is making it this far in the quest chain without looking up a guide, so I don't see it helping in that way. But the topic of the confusing quest chains is a conversation for its own video. If you have a razor, you can have a sneaky peek into any bundle supplies. Pretty self-explanatory as to why this is useful. No longer do you have to second guess that if this package was the one that has all your jerky in it and not the package that has ATBs in there. We've all been there before, don't lie. Finally, before we get to the real meat and potatoes of this update, certain things now no longer block the placement of buildings. This includes Chester, invisible shadow creatures, and birds mid-landing or taking off. So many times in the past have I been blocked by a bird landing right on top of me as I was about to build a crock pot or something. and Chester getting in the way of my farms was something he always did. But no longer. This change is superb. There's a couple more changes I won't go over in this video in the patch notes, such as changes to controller players, but one thing I will go over now, some server browser progression filters, which let you filter out the servers you want to join by how far along the game they are. So if you want to join a server where Pearl hasn't had her quest completed yet, or the Celestial Champion hasn't been killed, then you can do so by using these filters. But this video is supposed to be a quick overview, so let's get to the real big thing of this update. The grainy transmission questline with Wagstaff now has reached a conclusion. If you don't want to see spoilers for the new final boss, then please tune out. Or like, keep the video running and leave the room so I get that watch time. Either way, spoilers from here on out. If you want to know how to trigger this new chain of events, then you need to have done all of Wagstaff's little quests up until now. Defeating the Celestial Champion, fighting the Lunar bosses, anything where he turns up and helps you. Or where you turn up and help him, I should say. Once you've done all that you can do for him, head on over to the old Deer's Island, Pearl's place. There, you'll find Wagstaff peddling his garbage right on her turf, and he'll remark how Pearl is in the way. You know, on her own island. You are now seeing one of the reasons the update is called Hostile Takeover. Old Robbie Wagstaff will now task you with finding a place for Pearl to move to. To do this, give old Waggleman a map made at a cartographer's table that has the moon key visible on it. This will make her move over there. Though if you do go check on her later, you'll see that she's not too pleased in being tricked to live on an island full of pirate monkeys, and does give you the offer to craft an item that lets you choose where she can live instead. So you can have her right by your base if you wanted. Just make sure she's got plenty of room and access to water. Having access to Pearl right by your base is very useful and, say it with me, super cool. But once you kick old dear Pearl off her island, you gotta help Wagstaff with a bunch more chores, including terraforming the entire island into one big stupid arena by using a bunch of scrap, capturing 6 Gestalts, Grazers, or Gestalt guards with these magical robot bug nets, which used to be even more expensive in the beta, and even a rematch against an old friend. I'm grossly summarizing it because I'm not the boss guy, and this video is meant to be a quick overview. Once you've collected these 7 lunar souls from the Gestalts and the Celestial Revenant, the fight with the new final boss begins, Warbot. Whatever Wagstaff was planning with Warbot is pushed aside when Alter possesses it. Get ready to deal with a big stompy robot, big lasers, heat-seeking missiles, an arena you cannot escape out of even with teleportation, and minions based on the Gestalts you handed to Wagstaff. This might be one of, if not the hardest boss in the game, so far. I wish I could say more about him, but again, I'm not the boss guy. I'm the guy who talks about pointless nonsense instead. Go fight him yourself, it's a treat. And there's probably millions of other videos out there that go into in-depth detail about what this boss can do. But once you defeat Warbot, you'll have to square up against its final form, the Lunar Scion. Alter is really mad at little old Wagstaff for doing all of this nonsense to his children, and now shows us exactly what they are capable of. Prepare for even more attacks and having to deal with enlightenment, but all of this is just for show, as you'll see when you finally beat the boss. Wagstaff gets taken. For real. That wasn't a hologram anymore. The things he dropped after the fight, the glove and the clipboard, those are real, tangible things. Wagstaff is gone. You are now seeing the other reason the update is called Hostile Takeover. In the literal last video I did, I mentioned that Wagstaff was probably in the constant for real at some point, but now, he's definitely not in the real world anymore. This is evident by the fact that if you go and redo the Lunar Quest from before, he's nowhere to be seen. You'll be sealing the moonstorms yourself, and the spark arcs after killing the mutated bosses just show up. No Wagstaff in sight. He's gone. wherever Alter has taken him. Finally, the old man deserved it. The lore behind all of this is colossal. After Wagstaff messed around trying to make a literal war machine out of Alter's children, it couldn't take it anymore, and dragged Wagstaff somewhere. To the Constant? To the moon? Somewhere else? It looks like something for the next chapter of DST to resolve, after the Shadow Path reaches its conclusion. But besides the fattest lore drop we've ever gotten, you'll also earn yourself these things. These can be plugged into your Celestial Crown to grant you permanent enlightenment when worn, as well as giving the Gestalts you spawn on attack additional planar damage. On-demand enlightenment is crazy powerful, especially for a Wicker Bottom main, so it's really fitting for your ultimate reward after all you've gone through. From the very first altar piece you socketed into the Lunar Island, up until the Scion's defeat, it all led to this. But after you've defeated the Lunar Scion, you'll find these new Gestalts in the world. These are called inimical Gestalts, and they're a little bit tougher, but are able to be killed with regular attacks, unlike other Gestalts, giving you another way of earning pure brilliance, way easier, especially when combined with the new Celestial Crown. Much like greater Gestalts and Grazers, they will attack you on sight and won't just put you to sleep like regular baby Gestalts. If you thought the only thing you got for clearing the new final boss of the game was an insanely strong crown and a new method of getting pure brilliance, then guess again. After the fight, you can hammer any Terramites that the first phase had, and they'll drop drone repair kits. These can be used on any other leftover Terramites that you didn't hammer to repair them into your own little servants. They'll spin around, bouncing off each other, and mine any workable object in their wake. Basically, you get your own personal Maxwell Shadow Servant for killing God. However, these things can break after a while and will need repairs. It takes a long time, but to repair them, you either have to use another drone repair kit on them, or the special hidden method of letting an inimical Gestalt attack it to recharge it for you. And that's pretty much it for now for this update. It was originally going to contain a little bit more, such as more content after the boss was defeated. But with Clayfest landing when it did, expect to see the rest of the content of this arc to land in the coming weeks. For now, I gotta do a lot of thinking about what on earth is going on with Wagstaff. Maybe playable Wagstaff is finally gonna be real. For now though, take care everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this slightly different video than usual. Bye bye everyone, have fun with the new boss.